In the last session, just I introduced the basic terminology. What is API? What is web API? Or sometimes we can use the word web service. Sometimes we use the word web service. Next, what is REST? Next, what is the RESTful API? RESTful API and the Django REST framework. Okay, these words we discussed in the last session, right? So anyway, whether it is the web API or API or RESTful API, everything just aware only one point, sir. Two different applications, okay, two applications can communicate with each other, so something must be required for that communication. What is that concept? Is API concept. A Java application can communicate with the Django application by using web API. So mobile application, Android application can communicate with our Django application, okay, by using web API. To develop web APIs, to develop this web API, so REST defines several guidelines to develop web services, web APIs very easily. Okay, so the APIs which are developed by using REST is by default considered as RESTful API. Okay, observe that. Next, what about Django REST framework, sir? Django REST framework, it provides a toolkit. Are you getting it? Provides toolkit to develop RESTful APIs very easily. RESTful APIs very easily. Sir, Django REST framework provides a toolkit to develop RESTful APIs very easily, right? That's what you people should be aware. Okay. Now there is the next level. What is the next concept? I mean, it's a libraries only. Toolkit means not. It's a set of libraries, a set of modules. Happily, we can allow to use Django REST framework will provide some coding support. Okay, which is nothing but libraries only. Okay. Now, I have one very important point. In the last sessions, we covered very clearly about this point, sir. Do you know, sir, if multiple applications can communicate with each other, there should be some common language must be required. Regarding there should be some common language must be required. Can you please spell out what is the common language we are using? Anyone, can you please spell out, sir? Especially web APIs. What is the common language we are going to use? The common language. Oi, common language, okay, which can be known by any person is HTTP. Remember this, the common language is always what? HTTP. Next, the common message format. Message format is JSON. Next, R, XML, okay, like JSON, XML, etc. HTTP is a protocol. HTTP is a common language. What the people are going to use, what different applications can use. Next, the message format should be JSON or XML, right? Okay, that's all. This is just the small general words, whatever we discussed in the last sessions, right? Next, a bit very important for the interview room sake. Okay, just aware, just theoretical touch. Anyway, we are going to discuss in detail while implementation is going on. Don't worry, sir. How many types of web services are there? Very important question for the interview room, sir. How many types of web services are available? Anyone, can you please tell? Yes, friends. Anyone, how many types of web services are available? Anyone, can you please tell? There are two types of web services are available. Just aware that there are two types of web services are available. What is the first one, sir? Soap based web services. Soap based web services. Second one, sir, restful APIs. Restful web services. Are you getting right? Restful web services, right? There are two types of web services are there. The first one SOAP based, second ones are RESTful. But anyway, we require to discuss about RESTful only. But still, I want to touch this area because in the interview room, sometimes maybe a chance to ask this question. That's why compulsory you people should aware, sir. Okay, can you please tell SOAP based at very top level? SOAP based is the old concept. I mean, not old, sir. SOAP based is the having some problems. Earlier, it's the most commonly used, but these days the trending type of web services are RESTful only. Okay, immediately you may ask, what problems are there with the SOAP based, sir? Anyone can you please tell? There are, I hope, several people who are coming from Java background especially. You may aware what are various problems are there with the SOAP. Yes. Good. What are various problems are there with the SOAP base? First, what is the SOAP? What is the SOAP? Simple. Can you please tell? Simple object access protocol. Simple object access protocol. This is the SOAP. SOAP means simple object access protocol. Like, sir, what is the problems with the SOAP? Why the people are always using? Why the people are always using these days RESTful only? The reason for that is SOAP is always XML based. Remember, these ones are very important. SOAP is always based on XML based. Sorry, it's always going to provide message format only in XML format. So SOAP web service is always going to accept the data only in XML based. It is XML based. So next, XML is the, sir, you know, heavyweight component. It is not lightweight, sir. Heavyweight component XML, because in the XML message, if you observe the original message, there is at the top you can see envelope. Regarding at the top you can see envelope. It is normal data, how much is there, extra information is that much is there in the XML, sir. XML, the biggest problem is heavyweight. Regarding heavy weight, sir, heavy weight, first thing. The second thing is in web services, the data should travel over the internet, over the network via internet. The data is required to travel from, sir, provider application to consumer application. The data is required to travel. If it is the heavy weight, then the biggest problem is bandwidth. High bandwidth requirements will be there. Regarding high bandwidth requirements will be there. Okay. Next, do you know? So parsing XML data, parsing XML data. Like, do you know parsing XML data itself is not that much easy. So it required, obviously, performance is going to be, sir, is going to be affected. It is so performance, the processing will become slowed down. Just take a bit very special care, sir. So in the SOAP based web services, okay, so it is always XML based, heavyweight components. That's why more network bandwidth requirements will be there. Next, more network bandwidth requirements will be there. Parsing XML, okay, is a bit slow process. So obviously it is going to be affected. Its performance will be affected, right? Next, implementing SOAP-based web services. Implementing SOAP-based web services are very complex, not that much easy, sir. Remember this one. Implementing SOAP-based web services are a bit complex. Okay, like, so because of several problems, the people are not commonly used SOAP-based web services these days. Remember this one, sir. Okay, like. Next, Vinod. SOAP is the vendor specific, need to follow their own protocols and no common protocols. No, need not be, Vinod. SOAP, we can, so common protocols also will be there, need not be vendor specific. Okay. What parsing? Parsing means converting XML data into, suppose I'm writing a Python program. I want to parse XML data. I have to read XML data. I have to read XML data, whatever there in the XML. So that is reading XML data. Okay, is by default considered as parsing. Getting right, Suresh? Reading the data, and we require to use that data. First, I have to read that data XML to our Python object. I want to convert, which is nothing but parsing. Okay, there is one here. Just observe. So SOAP is XML based protocol for accessing web services. Next, to describe web services, very important, sir. To describe web services, compulsory we should have one special language. Anyone can even to describe, to expose our web services. So based, there is one common, there is one language we have to aware. That person is the responsible to expose the services. Do you know? Have you heard about this one? Web service. Have you heard about this one, sir? Web service description language, WSDL. Are you getting WSDL? WSDL. Some people may use WSDL. WSDL means, do you know which should use? We require to use that WSDL to expose web services to the web services to the partner applications. Remember that. So based, there are multiple problems are there. To overcome these problems, compulsory we should go for next level. What is that concept, sir? REST. But anyway, sir, do you have any advantage of SOAP based when compared with REST? Do you have any advantage of SOAP based? Yes, there is one biggest advantage is there, sir. The data, do you know, more secure. Remember this one, when compared with REST, if it's the SOAP based, the data is more secured, right? Okay, so no one is going to hamper my data over the network. It's the more secure when compared with the REST based web services. Clear? So if any person is asking, if any person is asking, what is the difference between SOAP based and SOAP? What are various limitations of SOAP based? Very simple, sir. It's always XML based. Next, and after that, XML data parsing is very difficult. Implementing SOAP based web services are difficult. Next, heavyweight component of this XML. Okay, like performance is going to be down. Then obviously it is the slow type of web services. So slow type, not that much fast when compared with the RESTful web services, right? Next, what are various advantages? Can you please tell? What are various advantages of SOAP based when compared with the first important point you have to tell? More security. The data will be sent. The data will be sent, maybe some encrypted form or otherwise maybe. So there is some envelope style will be there, maybe. So it is the more secured when compared with the REST. One important point. Second advantage is there, sir. What is the second advantage is? Yes, sir. Here just to take very special care. There is a second advantage is also there for the SOAP. If you consider our REST, REST is always based on HTTP, sir. Remember this one. Of course, the people are going to tell REST supported any protocol which has URI. Means, sir, HTTP only. Okay, REST out of 100, sir, 99.99% of the times REST is always based on HTTP. REST is always based on HTTP, sir. Remember this one. But if you consider SOAP can provide support for multiple protocols. Remember this one. SOAP can provide support for multiple protocols, like HTTP can be supported. Next, and after that, you know, SMTP can be supported, FTP can be supported, like that. So please make sure these two are main important advantages, right? Of course, HTTP will provide support means HTTP yes also. Praveen, HTTP yes is a special form of HTTP only. Okay. Any doubt? Yeah. Vasudev Reddy will come. Don't worry. So we are always going to work with URL and URI, these kind of things. Don't worry. So in our next level, it will come. WSDL means Web Service Description Language. Okay, Web Service Description Language. The name itself indicates, right? So to describe our web services, to expose our web services to the partner application, there should be some special language must be required. That special language itself is WSDL. The data, internal data format supported by SOAP-based web services is more secure than REST web services. Sima, getting right? XML data is more secure than JSON, something like. Okay. So can you please observe that? Can you please observe just because anyway we are not going to implement SOAP-based, just theoretically, just you people should be aware, sir. So can you please tell what are various problems with the SOAP-based web services? SOAP-based web services will always provide data only in XML format. Only in XML format. Parsing XML data is very slow, which creates performance problems. Point number one. Transfer of XML data over network requires more bandwidth. Okay, transferring data from provider to consumer, transferring XML data required more bandwidth. Next, implementing SOAP-based web services are very difficult. Okay, next, what are various advantages of SOAP-based when compared with REST? What advantages you can able to tell, sir? The first biggest advantage, more secure. Second advantage, supports various protocols. Okay, remember, supports various types of protocols like HTTP, FTP, SMTP, like multiple protocols are supported by SOAP-based web services. That's all. So if we implement it, then we should be in a position, okay, to tell more detail. But anyway, at the part of Django, we are not having any such type of requirements. So that's why don't worry about that. Just aware for the interview room sake these words. Getting right? Yeah. We know maybe any there is no length limit for data if it is SOAP-based like so maybe. The people especially who are coming from Java background, they can able to tell very easily, sir. Okay. Now, what is the next cinema? REST web services, right? So RESTful web services. Here, just observe that RESTful web services. Sir, can you please tell what is REST? Any abbreviation is there for the REST? Any abbreviation is there for the REST? Remember this one. Representational state transfer. Observe, give it very carefully, sir. Representational state transfer. Okay, REST means representational state transfer. Okay, it means each unique URL is associated with, is a representation of some object. Okay, remember that each URL is a representation of an object. Object means resource, right? Object means resource, representation of an object. Next, we can get the contents of this object. So I want to get content of this object by using get. Okay, if you want to create a new resource by using post. If you want to update that content by using put. If you want to delete that content, delete that object, then automatically delete. Have you observed? All these things are by default considered HTTP verbs. We will discuss in detail. Don't worry about these words. Okay. So each URL is the representation of an object. By using HTTP verbs, we can perform operations related to that object. Okay. So what is the REST? REST itself is nothing but what? Representational state transfer, where each URL is the representation of an object. By using HTTP verbs, we can perform operations related to that object, right? Okay, then. Now, immediately you may ask, sir, what are various advantages are there. If I follow, what are various advantages are there? If I follow REST web services, right? The first biggest advantage, please make sure, sir. The first biggest advantage is what is the limitation in the SOAP-based web services? What are the limitations, sir? It's always going to provide. It's always going to provide supports data in XML based. But here, most of the REST web services are JSON. Remember this one, JSON. Okay, most of the RESTful web services are always going to provide the data in the form of JSON. Okay, XML and JSON. What is the difference? Is XML is the heavyweight, sir. XML itself is the heavyweight. JSON itself is lightweight. Remember this one, heavyweight, lightweight components. Okay, a simple, sir. I will show, maybe in my system, maybe there somewhere. 1 minute, observe that. This is emp.xml. emp.xml. Yes, sir. Employees data is available in the form of XML. Assume that, sir. Assume it is the XML form. But the same thing, if I can go for JSON, have you observed, right? Are you seeing? So just have you observed the difference, right? If I can go for XML, how the data looks like? Sir, just 100. This one is going to be sir, field name is equal to dot and so on. But if I can take the same thing by using JSON, okay, here JSON, have you observed, right? Very simple. Okay, this is so, which is the heavyweight, which is the lightweight. Now by seeing this terminology, you are in a position to understand, sir. So JSON itself is lightweight. Remember this one, lightweight. Okay, if it is the lightweight, happily traveling over the network will become very easy. Parsing will become very easy. Do you know, when compared with the SOAP-based web services, sir, the biggest advantage of RESTful web services here, do you know, it requires less bandwidth to send JSON data from provider to consumer. One thing. Next, it is the speed. Performance is more. Speed is more when compared with the SOAP-based web services, right? Okay, transfer of JSON data over the network required less bandwidth, sir. Okay, like so here this is next. We had to expose our services. Okay, some special language must be required in the SOAP. What is that special language? WSDL. WSDL. Regarding WSDL must be required. Web service description language. But here, no such type of requirement. Directly we can expose our web services by using URLs. We can expose directly. No special language like this type of thing is not there. So less lightweight. Next, and after that, less bandwidth requirements. Next, more performance, high performance. I can use high performance. Next, any other special modes related to the RESTful web services? Because of lightweight, high performance, less bandwidth requirements. Next, easy development. Remember this one, easy development. Next, human understandable message format. Human understandable message format. Do you know, if I will give some just XML data array, can you please read? If I can give JSON data, yes, everyone can able to understand. So human understandable message format. So these are keywords related to RESTful web services, right? What is the first keyword? Lightweight. But if it's the SOAP-based, high weight, heavyweight. Sir, here less bandwidth, but there more bandwidth requirements. Sir, high performance, but there low performance. Easy development, but their development will become more complex. Next, human understandable message format. XML data is understandable, but when compared with the JSON, readability is low. Getting? So because of these benefits, the most commonly used type of web services are RESTful web services. Okay, but anyway, sir, all these words slowly while our course is going on, you can get much clarity, sir. Okay, so for SOAP based web services, Django won't provide any inbuilt support. For to develop REST web services, yes, sir, definitely this is going to provide. Django is going to provide Django REST framework because REST is our future. Okay, SOAP is was the history. Remember that, very rare the people are going to use. Everywhere if you go for interview, REST is it's a very common terminology because of these added advantages, right? Yes, obviously, Shashank, are you getting right? Now, can you please tell, there may be some problems also related to the REST. One problem is less secure when compared with less secure when compared with lesser security is lesser when compared with okay, like next, and after that there is one more limit. Do you know, if it is the SOAP, it provides support for multiple protocols. But SOAP services happily you can expose, you can expose by using HTTP, you can consume by using HTTP, FTP, SMTP. But REST web services supports only protocols which has URI, which is nothing but something like HTTP. Mostly it is the HTTP, sir. SMTP, sorry, not possible. FTP, sorry, not possible. Like this, right? Okay. Next, there is one more difference. Vinod is telling. So in the case of here, data, there is a limit is there on the data what we are going to send. Okay. Limit restriction is there. Limited amount of data. I'm not sure. Let me cross check again. Let me cross check. But anyway, just aware. Limited amount of data only we can send by using REST web services. The amount of data transferred from consumer to producer or producer to consumer is always there is some limit is there, but which is not having limit there. Getting right? Yeah. Okay, so why I'm telling this point is because if you go to the interview room, if any person is asking, do you know API, REST API, then immediately next question, what the difference between SOAP based and what we call REST based web services? Even we never implemented, but still we should be in a position to answer. Just the basic idea at very top level, just aware. Getting right anyway, the required things we are going to implement, don't worry. Just now, are you in the position to talk few minutes about SOAP based web services and RESTful web services, right? Yes, friends. Yeah. Less is less. Yes, REST is less secure when compared with SOAP. Okay. So just observe all the differences. I want to take into a small table form. Okay, class, if you want, you can take. I will include in our material. Don't worry about that, sir. So just observe a bit carefully about this one. Okay, now here just have a look once, sir. What is the SOAP based? What is the SOAP based? And then what is the REST? Just providing SOAP based and the REST. So the first point, sir, it is always so XML based message protocol. Correct or not? XML based sir, message XML based message protocol. So itself is XML based, sir, protocol. But REST it is not a protocol, sir. It's not a protocol. It is a architectural style. It is a architectural style. Okay, architectural style. It is one architecture, sir. Okay, it's not protocol. It's not protocol. It is architectural style. It is not a protocol, sir. Next, second important thing, sir, it uses WSDL for communication between consumer and the provider. Okay, a special language required. What is that special language, right? WSDL. Okay, WSDL required to expose our services So consumer and the producer, provider can communicate, sir, with a special language WSDL. Okay, like sir, other side we are not. Do you know, sir? We are not going to use any WSDL. Remember this one. So no such type of special language requirement. No special language requirement, right? Okay. No WSDL is required. In this case, it's not required, sir. Next, here you know how to invoke services. Very important point. Very important point. In the case of SOAP-based web services, if you want to access, any SOAP-based web service, how you can, the partner application has to perform RPC calls by using RPC method calls. RPC method calls, we can consume SOAP-based web services. Okay, so based web services we can consume SOAP-based web services, right, by using RPC sub protocol. But if with the rest, we are not required to use any method calls, man. Directly by using URL path, we can consume, sir. We can consume by using URL. By using URL path, we can consume, okay, rest of services. Here have you observed, right? Sir, here WSDL requirement is there, but here no such type of requirement. Sir, how you can access, right, by using RPC method calls? Have you observed, right? So RPC method calls which may be the reason why SOAP-based web services are very secure. But here any person with a URL, any person can able to access RESTful web service, right? That may be the reason why these are not secure. Any person can able to access, but here by using some special RPC method calls, these SOAP-based web services can be accessible. Okay, like next, fourth point, sir. Fourth one, sir. Here you know does not return human readable result. Correct, right? So does not return human readable result. Okay, but here the message format is always what? JSON. It is always human readable. Very easily the people can able to understand, right? Next, these are heavyweight. I can use the word heavyweight. Heavyweight is XML based, but this one is lightweight. Lightweight. Observe that this is the heavyweight and this is lightweight. Next, requires more bandwidth. More bandwidth requirements. But here less bandwidth requirements. Less bandwidth requirements. Just observe that, sir. Less bandwidth requirements. Next one, sir, can provide support for multiple protocols. Can provide support for multiple protocols like HTTP, SMTP, like HTTP, SMTP, FTP, etc. Can provide support for multiple protocols like sir, HTTP, SMTP, FTP, but can provide support only for protocols which are having URI, which is nothing but mostly HTTP, right? Okay. Now performance is, can you please tell, performance is more or performance is less? Oh, respond. More performance or less performance? Less performance. Performance is less. Less performance, right? But the same in reverse, okay, high performance or more performance. We can expect more performance, right? Okay, more performance. Next, security wise, yes, more secure, but here lesser secured. Are you getting? But here lesser secure. That's all. Next, one more thing, sir. Here just I require to cross check, sir. Here there is no limit on data, no limit on length of the data. Okay, I require to cross check this point anyway, right? Okay. Now here there is a limit on length of data. Correct. I hope it is going to be acceptable. The reason for that is in the case of so by using HTTP protocol only we require to send the data. Obviously, at the end, somewhere there should be some limits. Somewhere there should be some limit. But it is by using XML, a special format is going to be used to transfer data. That's why maybe there may not having any limit on length of the data. Okay, clear, friends? Yes, that's all. So SOAP based RESTful web services, but without implementing, we didn't implement single SOAP based, single REST based web service, but still we should be in a position, okay, to talk at least some few points in the interview room. Okay, once okay, we covered at least the REST implementation. At the end, we may require to recheck again all these points. Okay, don't worry about that. Getting right? Any doubt? So that's all. This is one question. At least we should act like yes, we know. So based web services, REST based web services. We know that. At least that related terminology we are going to use. That's what you people should aware, sir. Do you know most of the Google web services? Most of the Google web services are so based, sir. Remember this one. Most of the Google web services are so based only. Maybe security, maybe criteria. I'm not sure. Most of the Yahoo based web services are Yahoo based web services are REST, sir. Do you know you may use eBay, Amazon, these web services they are using both. Sometimes they are using SOAP, sometimes they are using REST. Do you know? So these days, but anyway, more frequently REST is the more frequently used, but still some areas, okay, this SOAP may be a chance to use. Okay, something like no restriction, sir, I want to use only SMTP, non HTTP protocol, then obviously my choice should be SOAP only. I want more security, then my choice should be SOAP only, no alternative at all. Okay, but anyway, in Python, in Django, we are always going to implement, we are always going to use REST based only. I'm not saying anywhere SOAP based web services in Django related. REST. Any doubt? All the people are in a position to understand, right? Okay. Just there is one more small point I have to talk about these things. Do you know just HTTP methods? Regarding HTTP methods, some people may use the word HTTP verbs also. Verbs like this, right? So suppose I'm sending HTTP request. Now have a look once, sir. I want to send a HTTP request. HTTP request. I'm just taking one HTTP request, sir. So here web application is there. I'm sending HTTP request. Sometimes our requirement is to get the data from the server. Sometimes our requirement is to put the data to the server. Sometimes our requirement to delete the data which is there in the server side, or to update the data which is there in the server. So which operation we are performing, based on that we have to use corresponding HTTP method or HTTP verb. Remember this one, sir. We require to use corresponding HTTP method or HTTP verb. Methods are verbs. Anyway, the people are going to use. So what are various HTTP verbs are possible? Just aware clearly, right? What are various HTTP verbs? Verbs are possible. Do you know? Get, sir, post. Have you remembered from our childhood onwards? You know what the difference between get and post? What the difference between get and post? Most important question for the interview room. Get, post. Next, put. Regarding put. Next, do you know there is one more word very important, sir? Patch. Next, and after that, delete. Just observe. These are most commonly used. Some more things are there. These things I will discuss. First, let me show some idea, right? Sir, get means, do you know? Sir, get I'm talking. Get means to get one or more resources. I want to get one or more, to get one or more resources. Sir, suppose employee data is there. I want to get one employee record, or I want to get all employee records. I want to get all employee records. Then we require to go for get, sir. Next, post means to create a new resource. To create a new resource, then we require to go for post. Remember this one. Sir, I want to create a new resource. Then we have to do that. We have to do that post like this, right? I want to create a new employee. I want to create a new employee. This is about my requirement, right? How you can. Okay, well, sir, similarly, put is there. Similarly, put is there, sir. 1 minute, just I want to show. Have a look once, sir. Do you know? Forget about this code. Forget about this code, sir. Just I'm commenting this. Have a look once. This code especially. Forget. We will discuss all these things in detail, sir. Do you know which request I'm taking? Can you please tell which request I'm taking? R is equal to request dot get. Sir, what I'm asking is, boss, can you please get first employee record information? Can you please provide first employee record information? Sir, I'm asking about get. Get means to get data from the server. Okay, to get data from the server. First employee information, like this, right? If you are not going to specify this part, now, boss, I want to get all employees data. I want to get all employees data, like that, right? Both. So to get one employee record or to get all employee records, we should require to go for get. Okay, well, next, sir, take very special care. Forget about. Let me comment this code. Let me comment this. All these things I have to explain in our course. Don't worry about this, because these examples I covered for offline students. Now have a look once, sir. Here, what is this one? A Python. Please respond. What is this one? A Python dictionary. A Python dictionary. Employee number, employee name, employee salary, employee address. Okay, right? Now, which method I'm calling? Can you please read this one? Request dot post. Request dot post data is equal to new employee. Are you getting? Data is equal to new employees. Can you please create this new employee in the database? In the database, for that, which thing must be required? Sir, post is required to be. Are you getting the clarity? Friends, what is the difference between get and post? Practically, you can. If you want to get one resource, then we require to go for get. If you want to create a new resource, then we have to go for post. Can you please tell when we should go for put? Please confirm. When we should go for put. Good. To update your resource. To update your resource. I want to update your resource. Then we have to go for put, sir. I want to perform updation. Boss, employee salary, employee address, employee number. Can you please update? Can you please update? Then we require to go for put method. Sir, can you please tell when we should go for patch? I hope first time in REST API only I heard this word. Okay, first time only I heard this word. Okay, a few days before, but luckily we should be good. Patch. The people who are already familiar with web services, they may aware these words or this terminology. When we should go for patch? When we should go for patch? Best example, sir. Do you know on the road? Sometimes on the road. Just the patches they are going to keep patches. Regarding patches, patch means is it partial or full? Have you observed? Partial or full? Just partial. Just a small patch on the road they are going to just keep. So something like partial update. Full updates means put method. Partial update means patch method. Remember this one, sir. Observe the difference. Suppose just change just change EMP salary. EMP salary, 1 or 2 properties, that's all. Hey, can you please change 10 properties? 10 properties, update 10 properties, put method. So 1 or 2 properties, patch is the method. Next, can you please delete a resource? To delete a resource, then we should go for delete. Okay, please make sure these methods, HTTP methods, are very commonly used. HTTP verbs are most commonly used in our REST API. Are you getting right? If you want to get the resource, get the method we require to use, or get verb we require to use. If you want to create a resource, post. If you want to perform updation, put. If you want to perform partial updation, patch. If you want to delete, then obviously delete is the word. You should have clarity, right? Sir, what about remaining HTTP methods? These are the only HTTP methods? These are the only HTTP methods? No, there are multiple other things also available. Options. Regarding options, next head. Options, head, connect, trace, trace. Okay, move, lock, profind, like there are multiple things are available. But anyway, these things are related. These are the most commonly used, but these things are very rarely. Don't worry much about. If you are going to use, then I will explain in detail. Sir, partial updation and a full updation. Suppose employee is there, sir. For the employee, almost around 10 fields I want to update. 10 fields I want to update. It is the major updation only. Then better to go for put method. Sir, I want only 1 or 2 properties. 1 or 2 properties I want to update. Then better to go for patch. Patch means, sir, just 1 or 2, a small updation. Then we should go for patch. Nandakishore, getting? Yeah. Sir, what about these are various HTTP methods, right? You should have clear, right? So limit maybe as of now. So just partial updates means patch. While implementing, we will discuss if there is a limit and so on. Getting friends? Okay. Now one more small important point I have to discuss. Sir, do you know database CRUD operations? Have you heard about this one? Database CRUD operations. CRUD operations. It's a very common, sir. In the REST API, CRUD. Do you know sometimes total REST API is going to talk about CRUD only? Okay, that's why you should have clear clarity. What says HTTP verbs? HTTP verbs, sir. So now my question is C. If I use a C, what is the C? C means what? Create. Can you please create a new resource? For this, which method we require to use? Hey, which HTTP verb we require to use? Just now I told. Create a new resource. Post is the thing we require to use. Next, sir, R. R means what? Retrieve. R means retrieve. R read. For this, which HTTP method we have to use? Retrieve, read. Which HTTP method we require to use? Get is the method. U means update, sir. Update operation. For this, which HTTP method we have to use? Which HTTP method we require to use? Put R patch. D means delete, sir. D means delete. Okay, like delete for this. Which thing must be required to use, right? Delete. That's it. Okay, these are, sir, just CRUD operations versus HTTP methods, because very commonly we are going to use. Yes, better to get a clarity. Getting up to this, any doubt? Okay, that's all. So now the next thing what I have to discuss. Sir, up to this, what the difference between web services what the difference between types of web services? Next, what is the HTTP verbs? What we have to use and so on. Like all these things are very clear, right? Next, one more small word I have to discuss for you people, right? You can very easily can able to understand. You can very easily can able to understand, right? Okay, what that? It is the stateless only. Was there already? Stateless only. We will discuss that. Okay. What is the next a small thing I have to discuss? Sir, web service provider, web service provider versus web service consumer. Nothing is there, sir. Very easily you can able to understand. The person who is going to consume is called consumer. The person who is going to who is going to provide is by default considered as provider. Okay, simple, sir. If you consider, okay, the application which is providing web services is called web service provider. The application which is consuming web services is called web service consumer. The person who is going to consume, that person is called consumer. The person who is going to produce, that person is called provider. Okay, well, provide. Best example, if I consider book my show application, just observe that, sir. Book my show app is there. Book my show app is required to communicate with the payment gateway application. Payment gateway applications. Book my show app required to communicate with the payment gateway application through web services. Okay, well, now the point is, in this scenario, who is the consumer, who is the provider? Who is the consumer, who is the provider? Can you please confirm? Yes, payment gateway is the provider. Book my show application is the consumer, because this person require services of payment gateway. That's why. So book my show itself is consumer person. This person is called a provider. Observe carefully, sir. Any doubt? Okay, because very commonly used word, consumer, provider, like nothing. It is just providing clarity. Beyond that, nothing, sir. Okay, so very simple, very simple. Let me go for let me talk about, sir, a simple application level things. But before that, one small thing I have to discuss with you. What is our topic name? Django. Please confirm. Django REST framework. Regarding Django REST framework, REST framework or REST API. Sir, first almost around 10 classes. Okay, I want to explain web services. I want to explain web services without the REST API. Regarding, I don't want to use REST framework. I don't want to use REST framework. I want to explain how to create my own web services. Django, purely by using Django, I will explain, sir. Once you are getting the clarity, okay, about what is web API, how to develop web APIs, and so on, there, okay, I will use the REST framework so that you can aware, oh, internally these things can be done very easily with this framework. That the maja you can able to get, sir. Regarding, so tomorrow my client may tell, oh, don't use any framework, you have to create your own API, your own web API you require to create. Can you please develop? Can you please develop? Write API for put operation, write API for delete operation, like this, right? So how we can able to do that? How we can do that? Okay, first I will develop web API on my own. Better to consider Durga Web Services. Once you aware these web services, next how you can use Django REST framework to develop web APIs, I will explain, so that the maja of this REST framework you can get. Next, without REST framework, still we are in a position to develop web APIs for our application. Any doubt, friends? Are you in the position to understand, right? Okay, simple. By using Django only, I want to develop web APIs. I don't want to use the REST framework. I don't know the terminology of REST framework. First 10 sessions. So if everything you are going to do on your own, you will get much clarity on the subject. Okay, once you are getting full clarity, then I will introduce REST framework. So these are the things whatever we did manually, these things now automated by using this framework, so that our life will become very easy. Next, internally what thing is happening, you will get much clarity. That's why I want to do difficult part at the beginning and then easy part at the next level. Is it good programming, right? So that you will get internal things. Next, tomorrow future is always easiness will be there. Okay, that's why. So first 10 sessions, I don't want to use any REST of framework. Okay, simple how to develop the things I will explain, sir. So first let me habitize some programming terminology, okay, to start our coding. What I have to do is, how many new members are there who are not my old Django students, either directly or indirectly? Sir, I never heard, I learned Django somewhere else. I came here only for REST API. Anyone there in this session? Ayo. Can I expect everyone either directly or indirectly my Django students only? Subbu, Django where you learn? Yeah. So just one good news or bad news for you people. To attend these Django REST framework classes, compulsory you should wear Django. Okay, if you don't know Django, then these classes are not suitable for you people. Remember that. Okay, Django must be required, compulsory. You require to aware. Okay, because it is the Django REST framework. Okay, well, so the remaining people, can you please tell? Yes, I learned Django somewhere else. Anyone there? Can you please? Aryan. Okay, well, you know clearly Django, right? Any other person? Any other? Because to continue this REST framework, compulsory you require. Next, my what we call, just I want the environment setup. Environment setup. I want to explain. The people who don't know about Django, then these classes are not suitable for you. First, you should learn Django, and then you got to come to this area. Okay, maybe good news or bad news. Okay. Okay, well, now Aryan, just usually to develop my Django applications, I'm always going to use Atom IDE. Okay, Atom IDE. Just how to install this Atom IDE? It's a very simple, sir. Just you can go for atom.io. Atom.io. Here, just it will be there. It will be there. Just download. Regarding just a download, click exe file only. Atom.io, download and click. You are not required to set anything, sir. Just you are not required to set a download and execute exe file automatically in your desktop. Yes, this Atom by default will be there. If you open that, then you can able to see. Okay, it's a very easy. Just install that. Next, and after that, one more thing I have to tell for you. Just the people who don't know about Atom. Okay, after Atom installation. Okay, just after Atom. Yeah, after Atom installation, so just two things you have to take care: Python auto completion and Django. These two tools you require to keep in the settings. Just very easy, sir. Just observe that. Okay, once you installed this, okay, in the file, okay, settings will be there, file settings will be there. In the settings, install, like there are two packages you require to install. One is, yes, in the search bar, just type Python autocomplete Python. Just if you can type Python, just the packages. Yes, here we observed autocomplete Python. Just install. If you are going to get install button, just install, so that Python auto completion commands will come. Okay, like next, and after that, one more Django related also. Just type Django, Atom Django will be there. Just install. Okay, that's all. Okay, these two things you people should aware. I mean, okay, I hope I shared already. Yeah. Okay, these are things. Yeah, Vijay, let me check that PyCharm. So just I will take definitely some sessions on that. Yeah, Vijay and Vaishnav. Okay, definitely sometime I will use PyCharm. But okay, Atom is better than PyCharm. No, Aryan, no. Atom and PyCharm both are IDEs, but both the things. Even PyCharm is a more what we call powerful, more useful even than Atom. But why the people are going to use Atom is it is the freeware. But PyCharm you have some license agreements. Getting right? Yeah, that's it. So Atom is the most commonly used. Yes, Sonali. Visual Studio, maybe. Yes, sir. Because there are multiple things. There are multiple things are available. Okay, for multiple IDEs you can use Visual Studio. You can use PyCharm. You can use Atom. You can use Spider. We can use like multiple things you can use, but nothing will be there. So somewhere even Sublime Text. Next, any without IDE, just Edit Plus also we can use. Normal notepad also, but generally, okay, application level we can. Yeah. Now here just take a bit very special care about this one, sir. Okay. Next, here what is the what I want to explain. Just to take a bit very special care. You should aware how to this Atom must be there for the new members especially. Please make sure Atom must be there in your system. Okay, well. Now the first level, what I want to do is you have to familiar, okay, write a Django application. So this knowledge I'm expecting from you people. Write a Django application to send the HTML response, HTTP response type, HTML response. Next to send the JSON response, how you can, regarding JSON response, how you can, you require to familiar with the JSON kind of terminology. I will explain how you can send a JSON response, okay, from the Django application. These things we will discuss in detail. Don't worry, sir. Okay, directly I will go for application. First, slowly you have to aware, write a function based view, or just write a Django function to send the employee data in HTML response form, in JSON response form. How you can able to do that? That part we have to discuss. Okay, can I start